Here at 2 Day Rentals, we're a big fan of Kenner and especially the Alien vs. Predator toy line. Not only do I love collecting for it and all the variations of figures, I also like to find ways to expand this line, be it from other vehicles that are within the Kenner realm that scale with these figures, or adding figures that Kenner also produced in the 90s to really make this universe a lot broader. And if you pull from the comics for inspiration, like I've done, then you've got a lot to choose from. Here we see a group of Marines geared up and ready to go out to the fight because, unfortunately, there's a distress signal being sent out back to the base. A group of Marines and some colonists have got themselves in between a nasty battle with the Predators and Xenomorphs. Dutch and his group definitely could help in this situation. There's no doubt they've had some experience with the Predators. They were being dramatic and requested a chopper, so we brought in Machiko Noguchi. What better person to handle the situation with Xenomorphs and aliens? She's one of the very few humans who have been accepted by the Predator and allowed to be in one of their clans. She really has an amazing backstory. I'll go into it a little bit in this video, but it's definitely worth checking out. She made her appearance in the Alien vs. Predator comics, and her story continues in the Alien vs. Predator War comics as well. The first thing I did was find a figure that matched the aesthetic I was going for, and I found that in this figure by Kenner. It's the Huntress from their Total Justice League figure line from the mid-90s. And it really had everything that I wanted. I found it loose, I liked the body armor, I liked that the capes were movable, so I took off all the gear. I may use that crossbow for something else, I won't use it for this figure. And I got her prepped for some painting. Next is simple sort of airbrush paint I did with some gold paint. As you see, I kind of poked the arms through this plastic bag and protecting the rest of the paint job that's already there that I feel works really well. And I just went to town, and I was going for that kind of Kenner airbrush look that they did on so many of their figures. And since the armor shows up as gold in a lot of the comics and a lot of the pictures, that's sort of what I aimed for. I found these perfect 1/18 scale Predator masks on Etsy from a shop that I highly recommend checking it out, Polymorph Miniatures. They've got a lot of cool stuff. It actually came with 2 sets of masks, and I believe they're only like $10. So I painted that one gold and painted the eyes red, the one I chose that was closely related to it. I've talked about these Final Faction packs on my channel before. They're from a store called Dollar Tree, and they had one that had really great accessories for Predator, and I utilized that for this customization. I sort of cut the ends of this blade off and glued that to the wrist. And then the middle sort of armor piece you see around the belt area, I just found some cheap jewelry at a hobby store, and that really completed the look. I was very happy with the finished product, and I may still tweak it a bit. There's some things I could do for sure. We're first introduced to Machiko's character in the first 4 Alien vs. Predator comics that came out in 1990. And it's within these pages that we get to know a little bit more about her backstory. Machiko is a chief officer on the planet Ryushi, on the colony Prosperity Wells, sent there by the Yakuza Corp, which is very similar to Weyland-Yutani, and their main objective on this planet is to ranch the native Renth creature. Maybe a little background for the Rhino alien, perhaps? Maybe, maybe not. But nonetheless, so what happens is a Predator ship lands on the planet Ryushi, very close to Prosperity Wells, and they begin to deploy xenomorph eggs that they are going to later hunt once they hatch for sport. It's like an age-old Predator tradition, right? And this is where things kind of get a little messy. And I won't go too deep into it, just in case you do want to read the comics and not be spoiled, but Machiko finds herself in the middle of this turmoil between the xenomorphs and the Predators. And I really love this map of Prosperity Wells in the first issue. You get a very familiar layout of the land, and actually this setting at Prosperity Wells comes into play in a later comic, which maybe one day I'll talk about. But one of the things I love about her character is that the writers really carried on that tradition of a strong female lead that comes from the Alien and Aliens movies. And I just think she has a very, very interesting story, which is why I chose to put so much time into customizing a figure for her. And like I said, I won't spoil it too much, but what I will say, if you don't want to be spoiled, is that she does end up teaming up with a predator, and that predator then gives her the honor of being bloodied or accepting her into their clan. And as I've said before, a very rare occurrence that the predators have deemed her worthy to stand beside them and basically call her one of their own, so to speak. So, spoiler alert, she does decapitate a queen xenomorph and keeps that trophy so she can explain exactly what went down here, just in case the predators do return. As you can see, there's just so much to pull from the comics, even beyond Machiko herself. And luckily I found a lot of great Kenner figures that just work extremely well right out of the box with no painting or customization whatsoever. For casual or officer Machiko, I used Elisa from the Gargoyles line. That's Kenner, 1995, I think. One of the colonists, I used Dr. Snare from the Evil Raiders Jurassic Park line. And of course, continuing on with the Jurassic Park for the colonists, here's Jaws Jackson, or Jackson Jaws. And lastly, Congo figure Monroe, which actually his gun I used for Predator Machiko. And since these are made by Kenner, they scale perfectly with the rest of the line and just add some depth and variety so you can play out a lot of different scenarios, and you don't have to do any customization whatsoever to a lot of these. And you know, if I wanted to go back and customize it just as much as I did the Predator version of Machiko, I could do that as well, but I was really happy with how this turned out. And again, I may revisit it and tweak it a little bit more, but I think it turned out really, really great. I really can't wait to see what else I come up with for this line. Thank you so very much for stopping by 2-Day Rentals. If you're new here, I would really love it if you subscribe to my channel, hit the notification button. You can stay up to date of all the different things I do here. I promise to bring fun and variety. And comment down below, is there a figure you would like to see me attempt and try? Or is there a topic you would like to see me cover? I would love to hear from you. And it's like I always say, be kind as you rewind and fast forward through time. Thanks for stopping by 2-Day Rentals.